Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only movie review horror podcast that loves family reunions, but only in decrepit buildings on top of banks. But before we bring in Carly, Brooke, and Ashley, let's see what we're talking about tonight. Tonight we review Evil Dead Rise, a 2023 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Lee Cronin. It is the fifth installment of the Evil Dead film series. The film's development was preceded by scrap plans for a direct sequel to 2013's Evil Dead remake, 1992's Army of Darkness, and a fourth season of Ash vs. Evil Dead. In Evil Dead Rise, a reunion between two estranged sisters gets cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
I'm excited about that intro. So, who picked this movie, I wonder?
I did. Your resident murder baby did. And I have to admit, I was a little shocked. I shouldn't have been because it's Evil Dead. But enough about what I think. I'll get back to that later. What do you think, Ashley?
I love this movie. Now, my husband is a huge Evil Dead fan, like comics, all of that. And he was disappointed. So as like a diehard fan, he was disappointed. I was so excited. I loved how they did the entire story, like from a storytelling standpoint. It opens it up so much that this could be like a prequel. This could be its own universe, and that would fit too because there's tons of universes in Evil Dead. So I loved it. But what did you think, Brooke?
Oh man, I agree with your husband. I was disappointed as well. It's not really, it just depends on the film with kids. I don't feel like they should have kids in this movie. I feel like it should, like, I like the Evil Dead when it's raunchy jokes, like the jokes that really make you laugh and they're like really dirty. But I feel like they couldn't do this because of the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't nasty jokes. It was just like, oh, you're a groupie whore. And I'm like, yeah, it was a no for me. What did you think, Chuck?
I disagree with you 100%. I disagree with Ashley's husband 50%. I totally agree with Carly 110%. Other than she was surprised that there was going to be gore in this film. Carly, I don't know where you're coming from with that. I mean, we're in this universe. I mean, I love Evil Dead. I saw the musical off Broadway, which was fantastic.
Really?
Which is more Evil Dead 2, which is more of that raunchy, almost slapstick comedy that Ash was known for. And that's probably what Ashley's husband wants. Ash. He wants Ash.
Yeah.
He wants chainsaw with no hand and all the boomsticks. And I get that. But I was also a huge fan of the 2013 remake because it was going back to the deep roots of Sam Raimi's original low-budget one, which was funny, but not really funny. And for me, like Carly said, it opens up like a Pandora's box of what, and what you said, Ash. It's a Pandora's box of like possibilities. Like this could be Evil Dead adjacent, where Ash doesn't exist, and it was troubling. I mean, I agree with Brooke that the kids in the film, it was really kind of depressing in a way because it was a little more hopeless than what we're used to because, it wasn't Final Girl style. It wasn't like everybody's like, if they get killed, they're just fodder. But when you have kids involved, I do understand that there's more consequence. But yeah, overall, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. I honestly, it got to the point where between me and my son, because we were watching it together, we were just like, oh, they wouldn't. Oh my God, yes, they would. Yes, they did. And I was so into the storyline that some of it really caught me off guard. And some of it I was like, oh hell yeah, because flying eyeballs. What can I say?
Yeah, but they didn't have a flying eyeball, and so you get some of that camp, but it was just so subtle, and that's what I loved about it. It's like, I watched all the Star Wars series. I watched Ash vs. Evil Dead, and it was camp upon camp upon camp, and like sometimes you need a little bit different flavor, and this definitely brings it home. The cinematography was so sharp. I mean, even the looking through the peephole.
Mm-hmm.
The door to see her just standing there, just like pale with the blood. I mean, every shot was just so gorgeous to me that it was just like a feast for the eyes, a feast for the blood spatter. I couldn't get enough. I definitely want to see this sequel.
The casting was chef's kiss. It was like the kids. I mean, I hated that there were kids in it, but I loved that there were kids in it.
Yes, I was going to say that. I love that there was children in it.
Why? I don't know. I just don't. It would have been better if the kids wasn't in there. And just in my opinion, I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of their acting. Maybe the younger girls, like the real little girl. I liked her acting, but the other two, I'm like,
I liked.
I love them.
I could see what you're saying about like the acting a little bit, but I loved that there were children in there because it really sets the tone for just how evil the Evil Dead is. Like in all the other campiness to it, it kind of takes away a little bit from just how horrendous these demons really are, how far they'll go and how they do not care, man, woman, child type of situation. And this one brings us more back into like a horror vibe and not a comedy horror vibe. And I like that. But
how come they didn't go to different floors though? Like, were there other people living in the bank, or was it just them on that floor?
There were other people there.
Yeah, there were other people.
How did they not hear anything though? Like the gunshots and everything. Like
maybe they were used to it.
That's true. I go with that. That's a pretty good theory. And also, if you remember at the very end of the film, the other woman walks out completely oblivious that anything had happened, including the earthquake. I mean, she was just like, "Oh, what's all that stuff?" So, like, either like it was being condemned. So the fact that there's probably only a handful of people, not sure why they're all on the same floor, but there was a couple people in there, so they could have been in a way lower floor and never heard anything. So they don't explain it. So to Brooke's point, they don't explain it very well. It's like how decrepit and how condemned and how empty this place is. But if you look at the parking garage, not too many people in the parking garage either. Cars, so
except for the wood chipper.
Well,
which was just wasn't it so lovely that it was just there?
It was there.
I mean, it's just there. It was well foreshadowed. I mean, and I will tell you one thing. It was very well foreshadowed. I loved the bank. I loved the bank. I loved how they did a swap of the Necronomicon and made it now. They kind of went back to the record player. They put that in there instead of the recorder. So I kind of enjoyed the fact that they kind of made it old school and they just weird recordings that this priest made or scientist made. And like each one, I thought that like added such a different level of tension. Like just it's like I love how like they did that. The poor kid, but it was his fault. I'm just saying.
Yes, that was his fault. Danny, was your fault.
Yeah.
Stupid Danny. But I want to know more about, favorites. We had tons of kills in this thing.
I love it.
All right, so Brooke hates kids in this, but we're gonna go right to Brooke because she's obviously chomping at the bit about what kills you like best.
But that wasn't my favorite. My favorite is when the blood was coming out of the elevator. It kind of reminded me of The Shining.
Yes,
like it was a lot of blood. But my favorite kill was at the very beginning when she ripped her scalp off. I was like, that was my favorite kill.
But did she die?
She did not die.
I thought she did die at the end, didn't she? Like whenever she came.
We never know. We just know that she was there on a dock and the boyfriend got
Oh
biblical.
yeah.
But anyway, Carly, what was your
Yes.
favorite gory kill moment? Whatever you want to call it.
Well, I have to say there were a lot to choose from. There were, but I gotta go with the Munch Crunch on the eye. That was so gross. I was laughing, but it was gross, and it was fantastic.
Oh, she's come such a long way, hasn't she, Ash?
I know. I'm so proud.
I know. So, Ashley, what about you?
There is so many favorite moments. Like, it's like they just kept topping the next one and the next one and the next one. They just kept getting better and better. But I have to say, probably my favorite moment was when the sister got possessed.
Oh yeah,
Because we knew this was not like one of those shocking moments. Like, we knew it was going to happen, and we were hoping that we would be wrong. But like, she just looked so creepy. Oh my god! Like, that was
fantastic.
And that was like a disheartening moment too, because you're like, both the kids.
Yeah, although the boy didn't get as much gravitas, just like, oh, him too. But yeah, her just perched up on the counter. You knew. I mean, how can you not know that person is turned? I was like, nobody crouches on a counter looking up at the ceiling, facing away from you. I want to say my favorite. Man, I have so many, because the whole transition and possession of Ellie was just magnificent. From the cables in the elevator to the craziness that is the bath where she was feverish.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that whole sequence of her skittering out and clawing over the edges of the enclosure. I mean, you say that it kept topping itself as its own. It almost seemed like the daughter being possessed was like, ain't as cool as what your mom did, but but it set that stage of like, it was just so gross and grandiose and so well executed. And just like her face and her twitches and the wide eyes and the pale skin and the blackened teeth. Again, the special effects, the practical effects, everything in this film, for me, it just, yes, it was very much like Smile. Every time she looked in the door and you looked out, I thought of the movie Smile. Yeah. So whereas Brooke is getting The Shining, which I also got from the bloodbath in the elevator, I also got like, oh, you're smiling just like the girl in the Smile poster. So you guys must know each other.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know about The Shining because I still haven't seen that one.
Oh my god.
I know.
We were proud for you for this long.
I know. Maybe that'll be my next pick.
All I can think of is that audio right now. Look at my son. Pride is not the word I'm looking for.
That's fantastic,
man.
So I have a question. I think I mentioned it off air in the green room. It's like, where do you think this could go? Like, do you all want to see a sequel to this? Do you want to see the slow descent of demons across the face of the planet? Because that's what we got at the end of this, which is a wraparound of saying, yeah, and now it's out in the world. What you gonna do about it?
I will tell you exactly what I want to happen. And my husband is right. We're on the same page here. We want Ash Williams to show up in the next one because he's time traveling, because that's a thing in the Evil Dead world. And he time travels, and then he helps pick who is going to be the next chosen one to fight the Evil Dead. That's what I want to happen.
I wouldn't mind going the other way with the 2013 Ash and have her time travel or just be in the world, because at the end you just oh my god,
oh wow, oh I got goosebumps. Multiverse.
What did you think of the change from a remote cabin setting to an urban setting?
I liked that. I did. it expanded what could happen and how many victims there could be because everyone on that floor. Everyone on that
and she
floor.
means on the floor. Just not on the floor of the apartment building, but on the physical floor.
Ashley.
Yes, Ashley.
The beginning of the movie is the end of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Want to make sure. Like, there was a lot of people that I saw like reviews doing this, and they didn't realize that the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie, and like the girl that shows up in the parking lot is the girl in the cabin setting, which to me, like, that's taking us back to the cabin. So like that's what gives me this like precursor vibe to this movie, is like this is before Ash ever went to the cabin.
Right. So Ash could be the next one to show up at the cabin, kind of thing.
Okay.
Like, because he also got the Airbnb, but for the next weekend.
Exactly.
And without even knowing.
That's what I mean. But that's not what happened. Like, they didn't say. That's just me saying like that's what I want.
Right. But for anybody who reviewed this film not knowing it was wrapped around.
Yeah. How could you not?
Obviously, we're also
the day before.
Yes. Well, obviously, they just half reviewed it. They just half-ass looked at it.
They didn't really
and I got my eyes on all y'all.
Right.
What was your favorite homage to the original series?
Yo, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll go first. I will go first then. If see the drone flyover, that was like the low tech camera work that Sam Raimi basically invented for Evil Dead. That low swirling through the forest, drone work being done the same way, I thought was a great tip of the hat to the original, because they did a lot of stuff. The cables in the elevator, very much like when unfortunately the woman got raped by the tree.
Yes.
So like they did a lot of things that wrap back around to the original series, which I thought was nice.
Yeah,
I think a person dying, okay, and then coming back from the dead was probably my favorite homage. So like in this one, it's the mom who died.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like mourning her, which in the first one, it was more of like a freaking out type of situation. But it was still, it was a nice touch that's how they did the possession and how it all like happened.
And I think that her possession actually was a lot deeper than a lot of the other films. A lot of times it was always about Ash. And then the secondary characters are always ones that are being possessed and killed and brought back. And it was always about surrounding Ash and his situation. But Ellie had a lot more depth to her. We learned a lot more about her, about what she's going through and the ex-husband and moving. So we knew it was inevitable. We knew it was going to happen. But you did feel a lot more for her, even though you knew it was just a meat suit at that point.
Yeah.
But you felt more that she lost that fight because she tried so hard to keep from being possessed or taken over.
Yeah. And it was kind of sad when she was like, "Don't let it get my babies."
Yeah.
Well,
baby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point.
we're 1 through for 3. It's fine.
I mean, that's why you have so many, so that a couple of them can survive.
Oh my god.
I mean, is that why, in the old days, people had 20 kids so they could take over the farm and work? Free labor.
Yeah, because you never knew what was going to happen.
I mean, people only lived to 30 back then, so, you had to, do it when you could. But with that, how are we going to rate this film? I have an idea what Brooke is going to say. I don't know if we should. I think we're going to make Brooke go first because she seemed to be the least happy about this film.
Brooke is valid. I want to say, go ahead, Brooke. You're valid.
Go ahead.
That's right.
Okay, it wasn't a bad film. Okay, it was decent. It wasn't bad, but I'm going to give it a 3.0 maggots. Okay. It wasn't bad. It was decent. This is my second time watching it. It wasn't bad the second time.
I don't even know if I can handle one maggot on my skin. So 3 is already terrifying. How about you, Miss Ashley?
I'm gonna give this a 5. I loved this movie so much, but I'm gonna give this a 5. Just gonna walk right over all of this mutilated body parts like it didn't happen at all. How oblivious! Like, there's blood and like.
I mean, she did look
everywhere.
I mean, she did slow down and say, "Hey, what's that?" I mean, you know, but she had places to go. She had places to go. Now, I went deep. I have 2 of them, so I appreciate you not taking them. But I had to write it down, so I made sure. I'm going to give this a 5 because I thought it was spectacular, and again, really was a betterment of the universe, I feel. So I'm going to give it 5 mothers who nurse with sad caresses.
Oh,
and that is all from when she's doing that little nursery rhyme, little lullaby through the door, so that stupid youngest kid unlocks.
Would unlock it.
Well,
I'm going to give this. It was very good. I'm going to say 4.5 cheese graters.
Oh
yeah. Oh man! Right now,
I have a question, and then maybe Ash, you're probably best suited for this. But you know, the sister got cut, and then got like goop in her sore, and it helped her to turn. Right now, we know. We know. I think it was her name. Beth. Is Beth the main character? Okay. She got her hand stabbed through. She wraps it up in tape. Then she gets cheese grated and somehow wraps it up. Gets covered in blood. But somehow is not going to be possessed by demons.
Yes.
I feel like that was a misdirection on how the possession works.
Okay.
They never went back and actually explained like how the possession would work, because the mom didn't have anything wrong with her, right? She didn't have any cuts. There wasn't any, but she was the first to get possessed.
Right.
And like it totally bypassed the son first, which that confused me because he was the first to like be around and hear.
Yeah, so again, we're giving it 5s and great marks. I'm like, wait a minute, story-wise, I might have to drop back one.
That's why I'm saying
You're biased. But those are the things I like to know more about, because again, typically any movie, alien, sci-fi, horror, when you get one cut and now all of a sudden you're open to all infection and turmoil. So in that way, I'm like, how is she like graded on? And thanks, Carly, for bringing up cheese grater, because it's all But like she was graded, maybe because it's only skin deep and not like cut through. I don't know.
I don't know, but the mom wasn't cut at all, right?
No.
Or am I forgetting?
I don't think so. She just dyed her hair. That's all she did. That's her only crime.
That was her only crime.
Made herself a redhead.
Yeah, and I don't know. And I'm not even sure what the point of that was, but it definitely looked good once she turned.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like in the Evil Dead universe, it's more of like a where you are mentally type of situation with how susceptible you would be to becoming possessed. So I don't think it had anything to do with the cut, but her emotional state when she was cut, like she was already feeling very hopeless, where the aunt was more like went into fight or flight mode and chose violence. Like,
she chose violence.
It was not messing around.
All right. So now I give it a 6 out of 5 just for that explanation.
Evil Dead, call us because we're saving your franchise right now.
Hey, I just want Sam and Bruce to have jobs. That's all. I just want them to take their little baby that they spend a lot of time and effort and years to make these films. And, you know, if you remember, I think Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are basically the same film, and they had to go back because they didn't own the license or the rights anymore to the first film. So there was like a lot of things they've gone back and forth over the years trying to get things done and having to do a lot of work to get it done. So I applaud them. And again, as a man who's met Bruce Campbell several times,
Oh, rub it in.
I know, right?
That's my flex. That's my flex. So yeah, he's awesome. But we could talk about Bruce Campbell all night long and all the $20 bills he gives out at all his shows for people.
Wait, he gives $20 out?
Yeah, he gives out money if people come and say, "Hi, Bruce Campbell, I think you're the best person ever." And then he goes, "All right, come here, kid," and he'll like take his wallet out and give him money for like, I'm paying you to say something nice about me. So,
Hey, Bruce, I'm kind of like without a car right now.
All right.
I think you're the best.
Yeah, you're the best.
Oh my God! But you have to get up to the line to actually talk about the.
I don't go out in public.
Yeah,
Oh.
But enough about Bruce Campbell, and we can talk about him for ages and hours. But who's next? Who's picking this next? Okay, Brooke.
I'm excited.
Oh, very excited! And what is this fine film you are going to be bringing to us?
We are going to be watching Dead Silence.
Ooh, and where can we see Dead Silence? Would it be Peacock?
But yeah, you can watch it on Peacock, and it is on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube for free.
Okay, and apparently you are right on the zeitgeist, Brooke, because I've been seeing so many things about new licensed material and like merchandise from Dead Silence within this past week. So you were picking it right on the cusp of some greatness.
There you go.
Way to go. Get it, girl.
Get it, girl. You go, girl.
You go, girl.
So with that,
how
Carly,
much am I going to hide my eyes?
Probably a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna be.
Yeah, there's some good. There's some good prosthetic effects that. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, and plus it's got dummies and ventriloquism and this course.
Yeah. All right.
So, question, Carly, since this was your film.
Yes.
Do you have any last bits you want to leave us with when it comes to Evil Dead Rise?
Evil Dead Rise, it definitely lived up to the hype. It did. I thought that the story had me so wrapped up in it that, I cared about the characters. It really hurt when the kids, got possessed. I was really upset. And then I thought, that's a good movie.
I got a question for you all before we leave. What did you all think about the Dead Might, like the big huge thing? The
amalgam?
What did y'all think about that? Like, nobody talked about that. What did y'all think?
Well, because we don't want to give too much away. I thought it was very, very much like Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis, where it all became an amalgam of things. I thought it was cool. I actually think that was the least successful. As a puppetry, I'm sure it was all puppetry driven. So it was cool, and it was cool to see things starting to come together. But I don't know. I think that seeing the mom through the peephole or through the security thing, I thought that was awesome. I thought seeing her just sit one-on-one was the most alluring and the most like creepy, and but like to see it all come together. Of course, it was kind of like you have to go there, but for me, I was happy. I could have spent 10 more hours in that apartment building.
I liked it because it lets us know which demon it is. Because out of all of the possession that's happening, this is only one demon that came from the book. Like, this is the power of one demon.
Right. Well, actually, is that true? Because the book showed the one with the tear, which is a daughter. And then because
I'm gonna have to re
because now I'm thinking that in the garage toward the end, there was 2 camera angles coming in for another possession. So I think maybe there was more than one demon coming out of that book.
Well, that would be good for the ending if that's when the other demon, because they have to collect like so many souls kill so many people or whatever before
they got to fill up hell so they can open up the gates and unleash onto the world. Yes.
Something along those. There's like rules. But that's getting into like the whole universe.
Yeah, now we're getting a little meta. Speaking of meta, we're getting very meta at this point. It just shows you how much we love and appreciate the Evil Dead universe.
Yes.
So with that, yes, Ash, love. Boom. Big love to all my girls. You guys are amazing. I love hanging out Sunday nights with you. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye to Carly. Bye, Carly. And bye, Brooke. Wait, oh, Ashley's here. Bye, Ashley. And with that, thank you so much for spending another Sunday night with us. And just always remember, we're always here to scare you later. Till next time.